Just jump right in. What do you think?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us. This is our bi-weekly live. As everyone knows, I'm Jen Strelka, real estate agent, and I have my trusty lender with me, Gustavo. And today we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, things that have something that's been in the headlines for a while now, and that is how does AI affect real estate, right? Because everyone right now, we've heard that AI can replace the real estate agent, AI can replace the lender, AI can replace, can do everything from beginning to end, and they don't need to talk to a human. And so Gustavo and I are here to talk to you about how that is not the case and how it can assist, but you will always forever need a human to help you through the transaction.
Agreed, Jen. And yes, welcome everybody once again here. So on the lending side, right, AI can help out in the beginning stages, but at the end of the day, you still has to be that human factor. You know, I cannot tell you how many times, especially more recently, buyers are reaching out and say, "Oh, I found out," or I was asking Chat GPT these questions, right? And so, like, even though, yes, the information is somewhat valid, there's still information that is not 100% accurate. So you still have to have that human factor. And AI, although it's a tool, we always say it's not everything. It's just a tool in our toolbox that we can use to just sharpen our skills a little bit. So that goes in our industry, you and I, but also for a buyer, hey, here's what you need to be asking. And that's where we hopefully come in and try to debunk the myths or hopefully just confirm what they are being told or just maybe make some changes if anything.
Right. And I love that you said that it's a tool because we do use it as a tool. Like from my side as an agent, I use AI to help with writing descriptions. Okay. I'm not a very fluffy person with my descriptions. I don't use a ton of beautiful adjectives. So it helps me kind of soften the description for my listing and attract a little bit more of the buyers. And then it also helps me like analyze some of the market data that I share with people. I use it a lot when I am analyzing comps. It just adds an extra level of support because it will break it down better than I could for a client. It helps me kind of share that information with a client. And it helps with predicting things for clients. So we do use it as a tool, but it's not the Bible by any means. I think a lot of people need to understand that, again, like you said, it's a tool. And you take it with a grain of salt, and you always have to review what it's telling you because it's not always accurate.
Correct. It's kind of like, it's like a calculator, right? You're going to enter in, 2 times 2 equals 4. But if you
Hmm.
don't enter in the right information or ask the right questions, what data are you going to get out of it? It's not going to give you everything. You still have to know how to use it, right? And so we feel as though, at least on the lending side, you just said it perfectly. On the listing side or on the buying side, you help in terms of verbiage. On our side, we help if we're just trying to sometimes even just as crazy as it sounds, just to get the word out, just to say, hey, we are out here. And I know that Cream City Mortgage as a whole, we've been very much putting a lot of time and effort and resources into AI in hopes that we are able to attract more buyers. And because we do know that people are asking those questions, right? And so, not that we're going to get into all the platforms, but I mean, Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT
Oh,
being,
Claude's this new big one.
so I mean, but again, we're not getting into all of them because, truth be told, I'm not 100% up to speed on all of them, but I know that right now AI is kind of one of those things that we are being, if we're not joining the club, we're going to be left behind kind of a thing, right?
1,000%. And I will say too, some things that do go wrong a lot with AI is, I think a lot of clients right now first are using ChatGPT. That was the pioneer one. I think some of the agents are starting to do Claude and Gemini. That's where I'm hearing about it the most is from agents. But then when seller or clients start using ChatGPT, one of the things that drives me crazy, like when you go on appointments, they're like, well, Zillow said the value of this house is this, and AI agrees with it. And it can come from a buyer's perspective or a seller's perspective. And the thing that AI can't do is it's a very high level overview. AI is not walking through the home. They're not looking at the updates. They're not looking at the condition of the home. They're not looking at the location of the home. They don't know what is going on with the neighbor or the area. So when people, there was a situation that came up, everyone knows who Ryan Serhant is. And there's a situation where he was representing the buyer and the seller of a deal. And they both went to AI to find out if the seller was like, am I selling this house for too little? And the buyer was like, am I buying this house for too much? And AI literally told two separate different answers to the buyer and the seller because of the question they were asking. And AI was basically telling that person what they wanted to hear. But AI didn't go into the house. They had no idea how much work was put into that. They have no idea what updates are being done. So that's where people can get really hung up on the information that they're getting from AI. And that's where we come in to kind of say, no, the value is this. And Jen's going to pull comps and you're going to do an appraisal. And we're going to tell you exactly what the value is because someone's actually walking through the house with the appraisal. Someone actually, listed this thing and now it's closed, or like the neighborhood comps. It's like someone listed these homes as closed. So these are actual true market values of those homes, and AI can't do any of that.
At that point, let's quickly touch on what you just said. AI is pulling this data and is telling the buyers based on what they are asking and what they want to hear, what they want to know, right? So, and that's very critical because the data that's coming in to these platforms, it's just what's on the internet. So we all know just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's real or or for that matter, it's even true, right? And so with that being said, you're right. With that being said, like I mean, even on on your end, oh, is my price of my home worth this, or is my house worth that, or is this house? In my world is, hey, are rates dropping? I mean, nobody knows that, and
Right.
I always say this to my clients. I said, if anybody in my industry tells you rates are going up or down, like for sure at this day, I said they're lying to you because nobody knows the future. Nobody knows where we're going to be a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, right? Now we can forecast and we can say, okay, based on our analysis and based on the data that's out there, these are the projections. But at the end of the day, these are just estimates and they're just projections. They're not actual numbers. So when somebody says, "Oh, AI told me the rates are going to drop. I'm going to wait till they drop." Well, kind of going back to the last episode that we had is what's going to happen when people wait? It's just going to create other issues, other problems, right? So
Yeah.
that's where it's one of those things. It's just a matter of, hey, yes, AI, let's use it to our advantage as much as we can, but let's still make sure that we're doing everything and reaching out to the professionals like yourself and myself to make sure that yes, this is what we want to do. This is the right plan for us as a buyer or the seller for that matter.
Right. And I just to remind those that are watching, if you guys have any questions, any experiences, any situations that you've gone through, please feel free to drop them in the comments and Gustavo and I will address them live. So, but also like back to your point, like something the AI can never do is it can't help with negotiations, which again, that's where the comparables come into play and our knowledge and experience, but it also can't help with strategy as well. And so it's like, I'm okay with my clients maybe asking questions or wanting ideas past ChatGPT or AI, but please be open-minded about it and bring it to me, and then we can have a discussion about it.
Right.
AI is very high level, all over the place. Real estate is extremely hyper local. It's like you really need someone who has boots on the ground to help you strategize with something, to help you find the true value, to help you walk you through the entire process. AI is just giving you, it's kind of like you're in school and it's giving you a textbook of how to do the entire home buying process, how to like what to expect from a lender, and this is going to be your mortgage payment. It does not know your debt to income ratio. It does not know how it's going to affect your finances. And it's it's the same with again, I mentioned this earlier. It's the same with knowing the neighborhoods, knowing the location, the areas that you're buying in. It's not, you can put all the data that you want into AI and have them come up with something, but it's still going to be broad and not hyper local. And again, that's
Right.
where we would come in, where we can give you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. We're going to be honest with you to help you make the right decision and explain how these areas are working, where these areas, the value may be heading, and things like that. So, and I think people forget that. They think it's gospel, which that's what the internet has made it sound out to be. And so they just use it, but they bring it to us and let's have a discussion about, be open-minded about our response to what AI is telling you.
I agree. And so obviously kind of furthermore on that is, you're just talking, negotiations and the property, but what about this, how we can get into the property, right? I mean, AI, you can see all the pictures, but how many times have you walked into a house based on what you think the house is going to look like based on the pictures, and then you get there and like, oh wow, this is a great house. The pictures don't do it justice, right? Or vice versa, right? So like even just the early stages, AI again, I feel as though AI, you should be able to use it in the beginning stages to get started, but after that, that's where your trusted real estate advisor and mortgage professional are going to basically take you by the hand and say, okay, now follow my lead. They got you here. All right, we'll take it from here, kind of a thing, right?
Right. And then once you get the accepted offer, if we get an inspection, we're going to have to negotiate that inspection, right? Or if there's defects, that some from the inspection and some are major ones that we want to address with the seller. You go to AI could tell you to be extremely aggressive and ask for all this and that. Like they could say, oh, it needs a new roof. Ask for a $16,000 credit. We all know that will never fly with underwriters. Will never fly in the lending side. We can't do a $16,000 credit. But what we can do is go back
Right.
to the sellers, because it's also like for me, I'm already having conversations with the listing agent. I already know the seller situation. I already know if they're going to be easy to work with or not easy. I already know if it's going to be sold as is and they're not looking to do anything for that. AI doesn't know any of that information. And if they're willing to work with us, I can say, well, how about we do a price reduction of a certain dollar amount, because we know a high credit is not going to work. AI doesn't know how to do that. AI is just going to tell you what the buyer, wants to hear regarding an inspection, and tell you, hey, go back to the seller and ask for everything. And then when the seller walks away and say, no, thank you, it's a highly competitive market, I can get another offer. Then the buyer is like, what am I supposed to do? I just lost a house. Well, that's because you
Right.
listen to AI. The buyer agent has all the experience and knows how to guide you through those situations and still find a way to help you through an inspection. And it's the same with the appraisal in case it doesn't appraise out, right? They know how to guide you through it and get something, or help you, get an issue addressed and still walk away and with that house.
Right. Agreed. And that's where we would. So let's talk about some advantages, because I feel like we've been negative about AI, which we're not. Which we're not. We're just stating the fact, right? We're just stating the fact. But what are
Yeah.
the positives, right? What can we get out of AI in a positive way? Well, number one is um, exposure. Number one, right, is just getting out there. People, searching for your name or searching for who's a top professional in the industry, or also for like, how can we use it in our day to day to make things go quicker? So sometimes, if it's a matter of deciding, hey, what's a better deal, this one or that one, putting it out there, and we might get a quicker response, quicker analysis. And so that's where AI, obviously, again, in the beginning stages, is going to help us get there. But when we get down to the nitty gritty, that's where AI is. We can't rely 100% on what is being said or what we read, because you have to put a little human factor, a little thought into it. Where, I mean, at the end of the day, AI is a robot, right? So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
So, okay, funny story about that. I do agree with you. I think agents that use AI, it makes them more efficient. It makes the messaging clearer to the client. And ugh, so we know in our industry, there's a lot of different personalities, a lot. And there are certain personalities that those in sales that we struggle with. And for me personally, I sometimes struggle a little bit with engineers because they're very like this and they're very analytical, very data driven. And so I have used AI in the past where I have a message, I have an answer, I want to share it with my client, but then I'll ask AI, please put this in an engineer mindset. And the message that comes back, the engineer gets it like this. And that's something that I could have had 5 emails or 5 phone calls with, and the engineer still might not have gotten it. But because AI knows different types of personalities, and when you have a message, but you want to deliver that message in multiple ways, AI is very good at putting the right words and sentences and phrases in place where that personality is going to understand it immediately.
Right.
So I have done that a lot, just because it saves a lot of time, and it's really giving the answer that my client needs to hear, and I'm making sure that they fully understand it because of the tone and the voice that I'm giving it to them in is something that they can relate to. Like I can't necessarily always relate to an engineer. I may not necessarily relate to someone who is emotional or a little bit on the softer side. I tend to come out very blunt and honest, and some people get a little turned off by that. So AI helps me soften my message a little bit, and so that I think is a huge advantage for agents. And again, just helping them with the descriptions, helping them with like little things like that, not writing an entire email or writing an entire marketing message, because agents forget you have to present that to your clients. You still have to be able to explain it to your client. If you put
Right.
something in AI and they give you an answer and you just take it and throw it on social media, throw it in an email or in a newsletter, and your client comes back with questions, you may
Yeah.
not know how to address it.
And that's where it's like you just have to find the fine line between how am I using this to my advantage, not replacing, because we're not here to replace, right? Um, and so I guess with that being said, anything, in closing, what else would you want to add, or what do you want to basically make sure that people are learning more about AI?
I think the main thing that we've been trying to hit home with this live is that AI is a tool. We are a huge advocate of AI. We both use it ourselves, but just remember it is a tool, and real estate is very hyper local. And at the end of the day, a human is going to know everything inside and out about that transaction, that neighborhood, that area. And we're here to help guide you. And we're the ones who are having human conversations with the other side. And we just will give you the correct advice to get you into that home. But go ahead, use AI, but use it with caution and just know that it's
Yeah.
not always 100% accurate.
I 100% will agree with you on that one. Use it with caution, and at the end of the day, I like what you said earlier, is keep an open mind.
Mhm.
I wanted to repeat that because it is about not, oh, AI told me this and that's the answer. No, that's not the final answer. Keep it an open mind, using it as a tool to enhance for our purposes and also the buyer's purposes, enhance whatever it is that you want to learn more about. And we will obviously guide everybody through that process when the time is right. But definitely AI is not going away. Um, and we just have to use it to our advantage and find opportunities and go from there.
Yep. All
Agreed.
right, everyone. So that is it for us. And just know that, we do these bi-weekly. So we have another one coming up in 2 weeks. And then also please note that we do upload these live videos at my YouTube channel. So if you had to leave halfway through or caught it at the end, check out my YouTube, because episode 1 all the way through now is there. So, and of
Awesome.
course, if you guys have any other topics you want us to cover, send us a DM. We're always
Yeah.
here to help.
So far we've received a few topics which we've talked about here offline. So yes, you can direct DM us or send us a. But yeah, keep bringing on the topics. We love them, and we will keep talking about them.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, everyone. Talk to you
Take
later.
care.